Hello everybody, Jacob Lawler, First Team Real Estate. The California Association of Realtors just put out their July housing market update for the entire state of California. I want to go over the slides that I found the most interesting and the most pertinent to information that we really care about. I go over what's been happening so far this year, specifically in the month of July. Entire state of California, we are actually down 31.1% year over year. That means July of 2022 versus July of 2021. We had 31.1% less sales in that month alone. Year to date, meaning January 1st through the end of July of 2022 versus January 1st through the end of July of 2021, we are down 13.6% year to date. Pricing, we are still seeing year-over-year price growth of 2.8%. Unsold inventory, active inventory, we have seen a drastic increase in that of 68.4% year-over-year, and median days on market has gone up 75% to 14 days. Still incredibly quick, but drastically different compared to this time last year. So let's get into what we really care about here locally in Southern California, how that is different than the entire state. We have seen a more drastic change year over year of 36.9% and 18.3% year to date difference. And we are seeing a slightly increased amount of 6.3% year over year versus the 2.8% on the state average. The median days on market here locally are 13 days, pretty close to the state average, as our list to sales price ratio is 100.0%, meaning on average, homes are selling exactly at their list price. So what does that mean? It means that buyers are willing to pay when they are priced correctly. They're not willing to stretch. The appetite to purchase is still there, but the appetite to stretch is no longer. Now, I did include one other area, which is the San Francisco Bay Area, mainly because this is the first time in California that we've actually seen a decrease year over year, not month over month, which we've been seeing that, but actually year over year, the Bay Area is slightly down on a year over year basis, and I just wanted to bring your attention to that. So let's get into the sales, the number of transactions that have been happening. This is the first time that the state average has actually dropped below 300,000 closings for the entire month. And this has been going down since April of this year. Sales have actually seen the largest drop since the pandemic shutdown of 31.1%, which we talked about last month was the largest number of decrease in pendings. And we said to look out for this upcoming month, which is now, on how that affects closings. And it has materialized here. So this is exactly what we were anticipating. In terms of Southern California, here locally, we're seeing a larger shift of 36.9% compared to the state average of down 31.1%. So we are seeing that shift a little bit more here locally here. In terms of the sales declining, it did decline across all price points, but we're especially going to talk about the higher end here in just a little bit. On top of the closings, pendings have also had the second worst decline since the pandemic shutdown. The second worst decline since when? Last month. So it's not that big of a difference, but we have seen slight increase in the number of pendings in certain areas, and we'll go over what that looks like. Pending sales of condos versus single families. Condos are seeing that shift happen faster than single family residences. But pending sales did bounce back in some price segments. Why is that? Because back in June, when all of this craziness really hit the fan, we were looking at interest rates above 6%. But since the middle of June, we've been seeing a pretty steady decline in interest rates, which has seen a resurgence in most price points with the exception of the higher end. And we'll get into what that actually looks like. Because here in the upper price segments, in terms of closed sales, 2 million and up was actually down 30%, and this is month over month. So that is comparison to June compared to July now. But on top of closings, the pending sales, which means for next month's closings, we saw a decrease in an additional 15%. So what does that mean? That means the higher end is slowing faster than the rest of the market. Not only is it slowing faster, but the share, meaning how much of the high end is selling compared to the lower end, $1 million and up has been declining faster than the rest of the market. So what does that mean when we start talking about median price? If the higher end is slowing faster than the lower end, that's going to start putting pressure on median price. And what we've already been seeing is here at the median price point, California median price is at the lowest level in 5 months. 833,910. And again, this is to be expected when the higher end is slowing faster than that lower end of the marketplace. Because when we talk about the median, which is the middle, if the high end is slowing faster than the low end, that little marker is going to move faster towards the low side. So we are down 3.5% month over month. That is June compared to July. We are down 3.5%, but still positive as a whole on year over year. So again, it gets to kind of be a little bit complicated, but again, it's to be expected when that higher end is slowing faster than the rest of the market. Also, sales to list price ratio is easing as it's becoming less competitive, which means we're getting back to normal. If you look at this line right at that 100% range, it's rare, and we didn't see it until the pandemic that it went above that on an average basis. So we're getting back down to that normal style where homes are selling. Buyers are willing to pay the price when it's at market value, but their willingness to stretch has really been decreasing, showing how it's now at 100%. They're willing to pay market value, but they're not willing to stretch. So the share of homes sold above the list price, back when it was insane, above 70% during the pandemic, but now we're back down to a more healthy range or a more normal range, putting this little dotted line to show where we are now compared to where we have been historically, getting back down to normal levels. Now the price growth has dipped in the highest percentile of the prices. That's what we were talking about slightly before, showing that we had a decrease in price across that top 20% of the market in here. Good news is that mortgage payment growth has continued to decelerate. Let's take any piece of good news that we can get, because as interest rates have been decreasing, as the median price has decreased, that's just going to put downward pressure on mortgage payments, which is what we've been looking for, because it's been getting insane. So inventory and active listings. Let's get into that a little bit here, that the inventory is starting to get back to pre-pandemic levels. The name of the game over the last couple of years has been there's not enough homes for sale. There's not enough inventory. We're starting to get back to more pre-pandemic levels, and it's really since the second quarter of this year, it's starting to really accelerate up, and we're getting back down to a normal level. Thank goodness. Now, the inventory has reached that highest level since 2019, and really seeing that it's been that constant trend line of a downward availability of active homes, but it's really shifted since that March timeframe of this year, the latter part of the first quarter getting into the second quarter. So we've been seeing a shift. Getting into new listings, because one of the things you want to track is not only what's the total available inventory, but also how many new listings are coming on the market, new for sale signs in the front yard. So we've been seeing new sales start to actually dip as the market approaches the end of what they call the buying season. Traditionally, inventory peaks right now as I'm recording this in August timeframe and begins to decrease. What's been driving this acceleration of inventory? If it's not coming from new listings, it's coming from sales. Sales have been decreasing, and for even though we've been having less new homes come on the market, we're still having an even few homes selling. So even though active inventory or new listings has been decreasing, it's still more homes are coming on the market that are coming off the market. So for 4 months in a row, they've been coming off the market slower than are coming on. But that's been a total different story compared to during the pandemic. Beginning in July of 2020, there were more homes selling than were coming on the market. That's why we saw a consistent decrease in available inventory, because more were selling every month than were coming on, and that's just not sustainable. That's how we had this incredible run of 2 years of insane growth. And supply has been improving and increasing across the state, focusing mainly, obviously, here. Southern California has been increasing by 56.4%, but a decrease in sales by 36.9%. In terms of market competitiveness, mainly days on market, we are seeing the days on market increase to 14 days, still 2 weeks, incredible. But we are seeing a drastic change from the beginning of the year until now. That's just what's been happening. As sales have decreased, inventory has increased. That's just what's been happening. And a lot of people have been seeing a lot of articles about the reductions, the price reductions, what's been happening there. About 41.5% of all the listings in California have had a price reduction, and that's really been an insane hockey stick since April of this year, where it was at 15.5%, and then boom, exploding upwards from there. And that's really where we've been at here in the marketplace. And just to kind of recap here, in Southern California, what we've been seeing is a continued reduction in the number of sales. We are still seeing price appreciation year over year. However, when it goes to month over month, what we have been seeing is that higher end is slowing faster than the bottom of the market. That's bringing the median price point down, but homes are still selling in 2 weeks at the list price when it's priced appropriately. The main thing to take away from is there is still an appetite to purchase, but the appetite to stretch has gone away. So if you have any questions on what's happening here in our local marketplace, feel free to reach out. I hope this was helpful. Jacob Lawler, committed to your success.